king of diamonds, all things diamond painting. Square around, I'm glad you are around. Grab your plate, grab your wax, get ready to sit back and relax. Don't see you're single, whatever your niche. Here is your host, a guy named Rich.
Well, hello and happy Sunday to everyone who has joined. How has your weekend been going? I hope it's not quite over yet, so I hope there's still some good stuff in store for everyone. Welcome on in to Speaking of Diamonds, and let's do some chit chat and talk about different things, huh? So let's see. Mutnut, hello, welcome on in. Michelle Lang is going to have to miss, but she's going to watch the replay. So Michelle, hello, future Michelle, and hashtag replay. Michelle C, hello, welcome on in. Gabby's in the house. Osbear, hello. Elisa Maria, hello. TV on, editing on phone, but I'm here watching. Isn't it amazing how many devices we can have going at one time now and still sort of pay attention to all of them? I find that very interesting. Cat Hair and Chaos, hello, welcome on in. Carol, how are you, neighbor? Hello, Whiskey Witch, aka Kristen, good afternoon. Cindy, hello, how are you doing out in Arizona? Hope all is well. Sarah, hello. Denise, welcome on in. We got some more welcomings going on back and forth there, so I will there's Melanie. Hey, how are the chewed up fingers? Okay, so you got to watch the video. So for folks who have membership on the YouTube channel, which Eve gave away 5 memberships last week, so I hope you got notified. I've just started recently posting sort of like day in the life of videos. The challenge is that I don't have, like, I'm either here diamond painting or over there working, and that's my day, and that's boring. So I try and come up with some interesting stuff. Well, last week, what day was it? Wednesday, Thursday? Someday last week, Sammy had a chiropractor appointment, so I brought everybody along, and I filmed his adjustment. So if you've never seen a dog chiropractic adjustment and you want to, head on over, and I think it's $1.99 for a month. You can check that out, and you can see Sammy harass his doctor for treats. But what Melanie's referring to is Sammy gets up on a table, and the doctor's at the back end, and I'm at the front end. And she had suggested that I bring some treats and let him chew on the whatever, keep him preoccupied, so that he sits still for the most part. But even like occasionally she'll be like, okay, I need him to look left, and then I'll move my hand with the treat, and he'll follow along, and then move right. So at one point, I have the very little like trainer treats. Put him in the palm of my hand. I hold it so he smells it, and then he's trying to get in through my palm, and eventually I let him in. There was one time I had it in my fingers, and he kept going, and he was just gnawing on my fingers. It was quite painful. So that's my chewed up fingers. But I was laughing so hard right when the doctor is ready to get started. He walks up to her, and all you see his head, and he's like this to the doctor, like, "Where's my treats? What's going on? What'd you bring me?" So it was sort of funny. It's hot, Cindy. Well, it's a dry heat, right? Doesn't everybody say that? I do believe that does make a difference. It's 81 here today. It's relatively cool. but it's 62% humidity, so it's a little cool muggy, which is a weird combo. Nancy, hello, welcome on in. Hi, Eve. Eve almost won the Bumblebee or Bee whatchamacallit canvas over at Sparkling Diamonds. They had a auction today, but she meant to bid on the one beforehand that I think I won. But all was rectified. No bumblebees coming her way. But welcome on in, Eve. Whiskey Witch says they feel so much better after adjustment. You know, I'll be honest, and I said this in the video, if I hadn't gone to a chiropractor and got several things made better by a chiropractor, I would sort of question, because it goes by so fast. When I go to the chiropractor, you get there, you get in the room, that you lay down, they put the heating pad on, you're on the stim machine for 10-15 minutes, and they come take that off. Then the doctor comes in, does the adjustment, whatever, and then typically it's working on a specific area. It takes you over to the sort of the exercise room, and you do different like sort of PT type things. He also has, and I've had to use it several times, a table that somehow it lowers your legs while he's holding onto your back, and that actually got rid of my sciatica, so it's just, I don't know what the hell it does. I don't know how it does it, but it did it. So I'm good with it. But for Sammy, it's just like stretch. She comes up his back, neck, jaw. But I will say, we get home and he goes and he sleeps, which he sleeps a lot, but it's like not like his normal, oh, I'm gonna lay in the recliner and take a nap, and that's what I do for the day. He like goes in his bed, snuggles down, and zonks out. And they said that's could happen for sure as a result of the adjustment, and it's because it sort of makes everything feel better. So let's see. Hello, Gwen. Welcome on in. Crashly, hello. Cindy, I hate the saying it's a dry heat. It's just as miserable. I don't have to breathe liquid. Yeah. I like when I was in Vegas one time, it was like a scorcher, and it is different, but I know that it's annoying to say it's a dry heat, but it is different. It's definitely like, especially when you come out of an air-conditioned area, it's like you walk into this just wall of heat, and it is just it's so much. But I don't immediately break out in sweats and whatnot. So it's different. Here you can walk out and it's so humid, sometimes it takes your breath. So it does feel like you're almost drowning because it's so moist and stuff. But heat is heat, right? Do we really need 100 and some odd degree heat? No, we don't need that. Oh yes, Crashly, you got slammed with a huge storm pocket, took down some trees, hail, huge wind gusts, flooded our building a bit. Uh-oh. But it's a bit cooler out now. Great. I have to check and see if that's on the way here. I'll have to watch for that. I actually, you had mentioned that earlier about the tree, and I went to check out. There's I don't know what kind of tree it is in the back. It used to be an apple tree, but something else is growing up there. Well, it got knocked over, and it's over the fence, but it wasn't big enough to like do anything to the fence. But I went back to look because I'm wondering if Sammy's been bumping into it or something. So I had to go back and make sure he cleared it and stuff, and eventually I'll get it down. But for right now, it is what it is. But the building is flooded. Is the paper okay? Is the paper, the pens, and the all the stuff okay? We don't care if you're sitting in water. Is that stuff okay? Let's see. Nothing was ruined, but since we didn't technically finish the building, we had to get all the moisture off the floors and the drywall. Could have been way worse. Holding tension makes a lot of energy. I'm sure the adjustment is a huge relief for Sammy. I'm sure it is. And he routinely has problems in his hip area and his neck. And the neck may be related to his vertigo, spells of vertigo, which he has not had one since I took him off the medicine, let's see, the week after GLE, because he was on it for like a week, I think more. And then I took him off of it because his doctor's like, she didn't know if it would have a long-term effect. And she says, why give him another pill when he already takes a plethora of pills? So I took him off it. He's been fine. So knock on all sorts of wood there. Crashly, you have to finish the building. Do I need to come down there and prompt you to? I won't do anything, but I can prompt you guys. I could watch you guys finish the building. I don't know. We got to enjoy an atmospheric river the past couple days. So much rain and wind. Yeah, it was raining, let's see, last night and into the early morning and stuff, but it's been pretty overcast today, but it is what it is. All the materials survived. Thank goodness. Nancy, it's so hot here in Texas, can't go outside. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. I've never been to Texas, and so I'll be there for Lone Star. I've never been to Texas, so I'm sort of looking forward to it, even though it's very, you're at a retreat and that's about it. But I don't understand how it's so hot there, but then like other parts of the world that's sort of on the same latitude or longitude, right? Longitude, isn't, it's more mild. So I don't know. It probably has to do something with the Gulf of Mexico, I'm sure. But am I hearing correctly? It's something used to be an apple tree and it's something else now. Yes, there used to be an apple tree at so my yard is it's about a 1/4 acre and it's very long. And by the back fence, there used to be an apple tree and it started falling down and stuff like that. So we had it chopped down. Well, then something grew out of the stump that was left. And so I don't think it's an apple tree. I think something else has grown up around it, but it fell over. Crash says, maybe you come pick out the flooring and the wall color. I could do that. That would be good. After you help with tumblers and freebies, of course. Sure, I'll help with freebies because you know what I'll be doing? I'll be like, one for the freebie, one for me, one for the freebie. Because I'm going to be honest, when I first started ordering from you, which Crashly, I surprised her this week. I pulled out, actually, we had Rebecca on, right? And I was looking for some winter papers, and I pulled out this paper, and I look at it, I go, oh, it's a Rebecca paper. I didn't even realize I had it. So then I'm sitting here feeling it, and it's different than current. So I asked her, I says, when did you guys start using new paper? How long has that been? And she's like, I didn't realize you were a customer that long. I'm like, well, yeah. But I was always like, what are you going to use these for? But now I use them constantly just to make up the difference that like the regular paper doesn't take up. So thank you for the freebies, but I'll help with that for sure. Melanie says, I got excited for a minute thinking about Rich and a tool belt building something, but I guess he just likes to watch, which is fine too. There's a lot there to unpack, and I'm just going to move past that for right now. Nancy says, when you go outside, it's like you're sucking on a tailpipe. I can't imagine. I used to spend a couple summers in New Orleans. That is probably the most oppressive heat and humidity I've ever experienced in my life. But of course, I was a kid, so I was riding bikes and going around and stuff. The good thing is that there was a pool. So you jump in the pool, you cool off for a little bit, run around, do stuff, jump in the pool, whatnot. There was one time, so the family friends that lived down there. They lived in two different places, Slidell and Metairie. And one of them, I forget which one, is close to Lake Pontchartrain. And we stupidly, it's two kids, we went down and there was like a bike path along it. And there was like an area that you could walk down. It was a little bit like a beach, but not super, like it wasn't nice sand or anything. Well, we went swimming in Lake Pontchartrain. Well, I guess there's oil dikes out there, or like something comes through with oil or whatnot. My white bathing trunks had specks of oil all over it. And I'm like, that probably wasn't a great idea. Maybe that explains some stuff as today. Kerwin says, waiting to get funds built back up to buy building supplies. Hopefully it coincides with cooling off and I can get the extension built and finished before winter gets here. Maybe I go and buy the flooring and stuff, and then you name it the rich's house or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to work my way in there, man. Eve says, I once spent Memorial Day weekend in Hondo, Texas. Sweat my took us off every minute I was there. Yeah, it's interesting. Crashly, that's what Rebecca does. Oh, she takes the freebies. It's good. It's good. That's the old Wissy paper. It is definitely lighter. That's why I noticed the difference right away. And I think I remember you guys talking about sourcing a new paper and stuff like that. And I was like, I just had to know. I'm like, when did this happen? And when I went back in my order history and I'm like, okay, when did I order this? And it was 2013, which was about the time you said you were switching over, I think. Debbie, hello, welcome on in. Making dinner while watching. Well, now you got to tell us what you're making. Crashly says, Kerwin, he needs one of those beds in the wall that you pull down. Yes, in the office. Tammy, hello. Sorry you're late. That's okay. Eggplant parm out of the oven. That sounds good, Gabrielle. Is eggplant always mushy? I'm a big texture person, and whenever I've had eggplant, it's fried crispy and stuff like that, but then it's just mushy in the center, and I can't do it. It will be the speaking of rich wing of the building. Yes, that's funny. My neighbor always teases me when we drive by. So I'm equidistant between two hospitals, and number of years ago, I had an emergency and had my neighbor drive me over to it's changed names 14 times, but Elmhurst Hospital. It's over that way a little bit. And they had just built the hospital, and it's an amazing, beautiful, beautiful building, and they keep adding on to it. But I was there for, I think the first time, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. Then I went back in for another week and a half and 2 weeks. So my neighbor was kidding that they're going to build a wing, the Rich Schneider wing of this hospital. Thankfully, knock on wood again, I haven't had to go back there except for doctor's appointments and stuff. But let's see. So it looks like I need to work on Murphy bed into the design. Yes, 100%. Pretty much always mushy. Yeah, that upsets me because I want to like that, but oh well. I am having hot dogs and mac and whatnot. That sounds good. I don't have either one of those things, but that sounds good. I have to go shopping. But that does sound good. What am I having for dinner? I don't know. I think I have some of my meal plans left. Probably, I think there's a chicken parmesan. Then there's like a meatball something. I don't know. Hey, Jaylee Lee, welcome on in. Kerwin can use it when he's in trouble. See, dual purpose. And I think you need a third purpose that's business related so you can write it off. I don't know. I'm not a tax person, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. So little thing I did this past week is welcome to the part of the live that is called I Buy It So You Don't Have to. So I saw this tool on Etsy for diamond painting, and I like my gadgets, I like my tools. I thought, I need to try that. What if it really works? That could be very interesting. So this is the gadget. Anybody have one of these? The what you're supposed to do with it is there's all these grooves. So each one of these grooves is basically a row straightener or drill straightener, and then you roll it across your rows, and it's supposed to straighten out the drills. It doesn't. It will only roll with the lightest of pressure. The minute you push down to like put some force on the drills to move them, it stops rolling. So this gets a thumbs down for me. If it works for you, I'm happy. That's great. But if you see that, not a great thing. Let's see what else. Let's see what else is going on here. Crashly, its screensaver takes you way back. Remember the pipe screen? Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. I am surprised at the lack of screensavers that come built into computers these days. I know you can go and download other ones from the Microsoft store, and there's a lot of free ones, but like, shouldn't there be more with, like, why am I getting the same screensavers that I got on like Windows 2000 or something? But yeah, it is what it is. Isn't that what you use to cut dough and noodles? It does actually, now that you mention it, I can maybe repurpose that. I even splurged for the comfort grip or whatever, this piece that goes on it. But I don't know if it would work. This would be amazing, but it needs something else for it to work. So I don't know. Not rich approved. No, I need like a big not approved stamp. Does not get the Speaking of Diamonds stamp of approval whatsoever. So what's everybody working on? I know a lot of you are working and lurking, and some other folks are probably listening along as you diamond paint. What's everybody working on? Everybody getting ready for Halloween. See, midway through August, and I think Drills and Chills and Witch starts September 1st, which I ordered my Witch canvases on July 18th, and they arrived today. I think that's pretty quick for a store that does not hold inventory. So I am going to do an impromptu unboxing a little bit later. I didn't get one of the so you can use any canvas for Witch. You can then also double dip into Drills and Chills, which I'll probably do. But there's like some new witch images that the artist Kristen came up with, Whiskey Witch. I didn't get those because they weren't really my style. So I got like Earth Magic. It's like a more scary hippie witch. And then I got this funny like little skeleton guy. So so we'll see. Tammy says she's excited to get mine. Yes. Again, and by the way, Tammy, the canvas I have for you, I printed the label today, so I'll get it to UPS this week. But I still have to laugh. Every time I send something to Tammy, it charges me $2.35 because she's so remote. like they have to pack up the truck and pack up a couple meals and some water and drive all the way out to the middle of nowhere, which, I mean, she's in the middle of nowhere, but it can't be that middle of nowhere. Oscar says, worked on my mystery kit today. Have my Drills and Chills kit ready to go. Awesome. Sushi rollers, all done with the kits going on my theme. Okay, nice. Fairy's Dream with enhancements. Speaking of enhancements, see what I did there? Speaking of diamonds, speaking of enhancements. Did y'all catch the live on Friday night with Cheryl from DP with Sparklers? When I saw that Tima was going to be on vacation this past week and wasn't going to have a live, I thought, okay, I look forward to having something to watch on Friday night that makes me laugh and whatever. So I thought, well, why don't I have a live? I can do a live. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. What's Cheryl doing? So Cheryl was gracious enough to agree to come on. And we spent 2 hours talking about nothing but enhancements. And I took notes just like the folks that were there. And I do have to say, that video is getting traction. So I think a lot of you who maybe were there, you've gone back and you're taking notes now. You're like catching up your notes. It's had like 118 views since Friday, since it was like the live was done. So that's really cool. But of course, I've been shopping DP with Sparklers website, and I'm gonna go pour, I'm sure, but I probably my next, well, maybe I'll do something to the Halloween canvases. I need to take a look at them. But the next one is I'm going to probably use an enhancement kit just to get back into like Cheryl and Tima's mind of how they do things and whatnot. And I was sort of thinking of like a part 2 maybe at some point having Cheryl come back. And she gave a lot of enhancement theory, right? She would do this to make this stand out more, and this go here, and this go here. I sort of want to take an ES and go, okay, why did you do this? Well, because if you look at the canvas, blah, 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 sort of give us the theory behind the ES, which is the same as an enhancement theory, but instead of talking about like what they would, like what she would do conceptually, which is what she was talking about, let's look at an actual ES so that I know when I see you guys using a glitter, that usually means you're trying to do X, Y, and Z. So maybe that could be part 2. Let's see, let's head back up here. Yes, a lot of folks saying it was good live. It was good. It was interesting. It was fun. Yeah, I was definitely taking notes. Let's see. Elisa Marie is still working on a mermaid, Daydreamer. Well, that sounds like a nice one. It's always, I like mermaids because they're in water. So that's what I like about that. The live with Cheryl was awesome. It was 268 views now. Holy crap. What y'all doing? Go back and take notes. Go back, share that thing. If there's people out there that you know like to enhance or are too scared to start enhancing, make sure they go back and watch that, because that was a treasure trove of information. Elisa Marie says, can't wait to get mine. Eager for the unboxing. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of that. I'm curious because Ren, the shop owner, is crazy about Halloween, and he had all these plans for including stuff in the boxes. So I'm hoping that I got the stuff that he wasn't like, oh, it's Rich and he's helping with it. He doesn't need all the crap. I want the crap. Especially I like Halloween crap. Let's see, working on Flower Child by Geneva Bowers. Hi, Marlene. Welcome on in. I don't think I said hi earlier. Welcome on in. That sounds like a pretty canvas, at least. Okay. Kristen says, I love the bling video. I'm going to give it a try. Please do. And Whiskey Witch, Kristen, she had commented, she's always been too scared to do that. I don't know if she used the word scared, but hesitant to do that. And I totally get that. So it's awesome that now someone's going to give it a try. So that's amazing. Carol says we need more from Cheryl. I agree. Friday nights with Tima and you guys are the highlight of my week, says Tammy. I agree. And I agree. Tima is, it is the end of the week. It is the weekend for me. And it's so dang funny when she's doing the face masks and the goat dewormer and all this other stuff, right? So even there were some questions for her about what were some of the worst things or best things that Tima had her try and stuff like that. So that was pretty funny. Hold on, I just messed up the chat there. Kayleen says enhancement theory 201. Yes, we need to get to the graduate class of that. Cheryl is so passionate. I love to hear her talk. I agree. And like I said in the live, I didn't realize that she didn't work for DP with Sparklers. She's just passionate about it, helping a friend and whatnot. But I saw her in action at GLE, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I wasn't right up on her, but it was pretty cool to hear a little bit and watch a little bit. But I just find that so interesting because, again, my thought process on diamond painting is diamond painting can be three things. It can be as mindless as you need it, having a bad week, having a bad month. You just need to get your mind off of something and keep busy. You can do a cross-stitch conversion, which forces you to focus a little bit more because you're counting and marking things off a pattern. So it can help sharpen or keep your focus a little bit more. But you can't do that all the time because sometimes you need to be able to do, I need to place. Now, the third thing is enhancing, which allows you to insert your personal creativity into diamond painting. And I know that some people do diamond painting because they don't feel that they're creative, perhaps, and they just want to be told where to put the colors, and that's fantastic. But I like to be creative occasionally, and now instead of having to find a more creative outlet, I can be creative right with my diamond painting. So I love that there's three levels of diamond painting, and when it comes to enhancements, the stuff that they've come out with, like those stars, the hexacubes now, all of those things, which was sort of funny. What did I order from them? Oh, I ordered, they had a scratch and dent dazzle deck. So it's it holds the round bottles. There's also one that has square bottles, and it sort of just props it up on your desk so you can put your enhancements in there and work it. And that's what I used for the lion, and I really liked working like that. So I got another one so that I would have an extra, and it was scratch and dent, so it was on sale. I didn't realize that I had ordered a whole new set of these hexacubes. I got hexacubes at the retreat, then I got more hexacubes a couple weeks ago, and now I have one of every hexacube again, which I'm not mad about. I like the hexacubes, especially this black one, which is actually, it almost looks like the way it's a black AB. So you can see those colors. It almost looks like a whiskey or a color, it's just, it's amazing. Let's see. Gwen says, I'd love to see her break down a single canvas. Yeah. And she sort of did that with, what was it? Bath Time. And I forget what the other one was called. She did that a little bit, but I want to get into their mind of, but I agree, we need more of, theory specific and using images that, perhaps are popular or what have you, and we need to get our minds behind it. But I really want to figure out how, when you do an ES, I know that they have some basic guidelines. They want 5 different things. They start with glitter because glitter's the hardest to place, blah, blah, blah. but I want to know, why did you choose to put the glitter there? And why did you choose that color of glitter? And what, so go through like that. I'm thinking maybe the graduate level of enhancement is we all get the same canvas, and then we all sit down and we talk about what our thoughts are of doing stuff, blah, blah, blah. And Cheryl can guide us to be like, that would definitely, look nice, but how are you going to get that to pop out, or whatever the different things are. That would be very interesting. And then to see everyone's different ideas, that would be amazing as well. So let's see. I don't like this keyboard. I need to get a different one. Lots of notes, says Elisa. Yes, so did I. Denise says, I watched the replay twice, and I'm going to be ordering a couple of Handsome bundles as soon as I get move some things around my budget. Yeah. Thank you for rewatching that. It's definitely worth it to get the notes down. I went and I was looking for some of the bundles, and unfortunately a lot of them were out of stock. And I don't know if that's because something is truly out of stock or they just don't have the bundles put together. So I was just maybe ping Cheryl and just be like, hey, we talked up these bundles and some of them are out of stock. Are they coming back or whatnot? So we'll see. And if not, then how about I buy a bunch of stuff, I make the bundles, and then I sell a Speaking of Diamonds bundle. Where do I get these ideas? Why do I have these ideas? I don't know. Crashley says Cheryl is like, okay, I guess. Yeah, she's okay. J. Lily, Rich, if lips have 3 shades of red, would you suggest 3 different red special drills, or just choose one to replace? Sort of what Cheryl had said was, and I agree, that lip, that would sort of be like replacing a skin tone, and you have to match the light, medium, and dark, because there's probably going to be shading on the lips a little bit. So I would probably use try and match as good as possible, and try and get maybe an AB to match for like a little glimmer on the lips, or maybe even a fairy dust if you wanted to keep them a little bit more matte or something like that. But I think if you do one shade of red, it's going to be like hooker red lipstick or something, so it depends also what you're going for. And what I wanted to ask Cheryl was, a lot of what she was doing was stuff that sounded, the thing I struggle with is, am I enhancing to make things more sparkly, more fantastical, or am I enhancing to make things more realistic? Because I always default to fairy dust for flowers and stuff like that, and she sort of does the opposite. So I wanted to understand like where I was coming from with that. Crashly says, that lips don't lie. Yes, nice. I love to add bling, not good at yet, but we'll get there in time. Right now, add 1 or 2 blings to drills to canvas. That's a fantastic start. My first, because I just went through, I just organized all my finishes. I had moved them from rolled up in boxes and stuff like that. I got this big file, basically cardboard file. It's probably a good 4 feet wide or something, and put it into a portfolio. And I was going through and I was running across items that I've done. And like, I think it was it What Lies Beneath, I think, was my first one that I used the ES. And that was, it taught me a lot. It was also maybe a little overwhelming. I probably should have started with a smaller picture, but it's still holding up nice. And then I found the one I did for, was it Drills and Chills last year or Old Masters? I forget which one, but it was all in vanity. And it's a lady, like Victorian times or something, sitting down in front of a vanity, and you see the vanity and her reflect, like if you stand behind her and you look, it makes a skull. And I had grandiose plans to do all fairy dust because I wanted it to be dusty. It was an old picture. Well, I couldn't get all the colors in fairy dust, so I resorted to just doing a frame. And what I had done was I looked up picture frames from that time period, the time period that the picture was from, and found the art style. I forgot what it was called. Then I looked at frames like that. So I had some of the what do they call it? The bigger ones with, you know how like frames will have like things in the corner and then it comes down, it has like a thing in the center, sort of like the cards, right? Like, you know, you have something here and you have something bigger in the corners, then you have something in the center, and then usually down here for symmetry. Well, I used charms like to make the corners like look bigger, and then I used well, heck, I used sliverettes, some fairy dust, and I think black too, to make that frame. And it turned out really well. I wish I had made it a little bit thicker, but it turned out really well. Let's see. Marlene says, my beautiful daughter-in-law is a woman of color, so I'm doing flower child. That's cool. That is cool. The image is a close-up of the lips, are good 3 inches wide. Wow, and 3 inches height, so very prominent. So not sure. Huh. Does it happen to be one of the make your own wall art canvases? He has a whole line of, it's just women's mouth, like lips and maybe teeth and stuff. And he has all different colors. Then he has one that's all in crystal. And then one in crystal. I think all the rest are like normal drills. But maybe go and look to see how that's charted, to see what he did, and see if that could give you any ideas. Let's see. Lisa Marie says, Flower Child is gorgeous. Geneva Canvas are also beautiful. And Marlene agrees. Yes, fantastic. Jeanette says, I haven't tried enhancements. I think I might give them a go. I would definitely do that. And, you know, as Cheryl said, start with an ES and do only what you want to do of the ES, or try it all. Or what do you find the most attractive, and then apply that, right? Tammy said, I need to lie down for a bit. Uh-oh. No worries. Eve says, those black hexacubes are my favorite of that style. I agree. I 100% agree. We're wishing Tammy well. Yes. She's been feeling a little off lately, and that makes me sad. Gwen says, we could do that autumn one we all got in the mystery. Everybody got it. And now everyone else is getting it from the D-stashes, that for people who got it and didn't want it. Yeah, Kayleen says, I'm working on DSC Space Jam. Only 8 colors changed on the ES, but it's amazing and beautiful. Sparklers next to ABs, and the kits are next level. That sounds really cool. That sounds really cool. Gwen says, great idea. Great idea. Yeah, and I think, didn't they come up with, probably, I think they did, because everybody got it, right? Hey, Doretta, welcome on in. Let's see. Melly says, blend your bling is the new thing I'm trying to practice. Yeah, you know, what I'm trying to really focus on is balance, because typically what I would do is I would enhance the water, or I would enhance the flowers, or I would enhance the something, and I would just have either one area heavy bling, 2 areas heavy bling, or just, you know, sort of in different areas. And Cheryl talks about a lot about balance, and I want to make sure that my image is balanced. So yeah, Maybe we just need a whole bling. That's what we do. It's an event. Bring your bling, all with the same canvas or something, and that's how we do that. I don't know. I need to stop with the ideas because I'm going crazy with work and everything else. So I don't need anything. And there's just a large image and close of a little girl. Okay. But maybe go look at those regardless and see how he did it, because he definitely has some special drills charted into the lips and stuff. Maybe it would give you some type of idea. But since it's a little girl, maybe not ABs then, maybe more of the fairy dust, just to keep it toned down a little bit. I don't know. If anyone has any problems, please drop it in the chat there. So Tammy is still saying goodbye to everybody. So hope she's going to lay down and we'll talk to her later. Lee says, I got the call I was waiting for, so here I am. Welcome in, Lee. Welcome on in. We were just talking bling and whatnot. I don't know if y'all saw Chris's tray. This is really cool. This glows in the dark, or not glow, like under UV light, I guess, as well as the thing there, the what goes around it. I was excited to get that because I love anything that Carissa makes. I love, and it was sort of fun being involved in the creative process of that. So yeah. So what else is happening? So Brittany and Robin have been having Sparkling Diamonds have been having auctions. It seems that idea has taken off, and I like that idea. I think we may have some more items up for auction soon. We're still trying to decide exactly how to do it, if we want to do an auction or if we want to do something online or whatnot. But stay tuned. And yeah, we're taking some tips from how Brittany and Robin did theirs to help improve our process a little bit. So it's sort of interesting to, swap notes and stuff and see how each team did it to just help improve the entire overall thing. I scored 2 items today from that. I told myself I wasn't going to spend any money, but then I did. Let's see. What else? Oh, Jay Lily. Thank you, Jay Lily. So I think we talked in a live once about like a spooky retreat in Savannah, Georgia. And she sent me a link to a place down there that does scrapbooking retreats. So it looked very interesting. It has an amazing view of the ocean. And I was looking at the scrapbooking retreats, and I was doing the math a little bit on what they were charging, and it's not too bad. So I reached out for some information. So thank you, Jay Lily. Reached out for some information. The general manager got back to me, and the head of sales is out for a couple days, and she's gonna get in touch with me, and I have some questions for her. And then the general manager says, and you can come for an in-person. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to fly down to Savannah just to come see a space. So I may have to apply Jay Lee and maybe Jenny or Jenny with something to say, hey, could you just go make sure it's not a complete dump? But it got good reviews. But here, just look at this. This is... it's set up for a wedding because it's also a wedding space, but that's the view out this big bowed window. And it's literally window, beach, ocean. So regardless, even if any type of retreat or something doesn't happen, I think I may just have to go stay there because that, to me, that looks like the back of a cruise ship. specifically Royal Caribbean, the not the biggest one, not the Oasis class ships, but the what the heck is the next smaller one class. They have the back of the ship. They call it 270, and it's you have a 270-degree view of the ocean off the back of the ship. And there's a stage and stuff where they hold, they do shows, but then they also will hold like dance contests or, you know, limbo lessons or whatever. And then it's all seating that is stadium seating, but it's all like big comfy couches and chairs and stuff like that. And then there's a bar, there's a snack place right there. And my favorite thing to do is you go in and you go down the stairs a little bit and you go around the very edge by the glass, and there's usually big wing chairs there. And I go there with my beverage, with my Kindle or my book, and I just sit there and read and just watch the wake of the ship and stuff like that. So that really reminds me of that a lot. So I could go there and just sit there and do nothing. Let's see. Jay Lee says you can find a small canvas. You could $2,000 the bling. You buy the drills and you sell them in a complete set for your class. Could do that. Could absolutely do that. Brittany has around 35 more kits next Sunday. Yes. So if you missed out on the auction and maybe want to, you know, see what they're offering next Sunday, sparkling, you'll have to check YouTube for the exact time. I think today it started at 1 Central, so wherever that is where you're at, they have 35 more kits to go through. I think the one thing that all of us realize, it takes a lot longer to get through the canvases than we expected, even when you're trying to keep a strict timeline, because you just start talking a little bit or people can keep bidding or what have you. So yeah. Tybee Island is a small island that, as of last time I was there, was not overly commercial. Correct. So that is the Tybee Hotel. And when I was in Savannah last time, we went to Tybee Island, and yes, not commercialized whatsoever. The hotels are like, they look mid-century modern because they are from mid-century modern, at least when I was there. But there was like a little itty bitty stretch of shops that had your tchotchke shop, had your shell shop, an ice cream store, something else. And that was pretty much it. But it was absolutely beautiful. And it's always touted as the less crowded and less fancy, like, is it Hilton Head? That's further up north a little bit. And getting there from Savannah, it's a beautiful drive, and you go through Wilmington Island, which is where Paula Deen lives, back when Paula Deen was bigger than she is now, not physically, but more popular. But I wanted to go find her house, and my friend's like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm drawing the line. But we found the Crab Shack, and we sat outside right on like an inlet, and the table was literally a tabletop on a barrel that had a lid, but off of the top of the barrel, a lid that had all your condiments and stuff on it. And you sat there and you cracked your crab, whatever, and you just tossed it because it was open into the barrel, into the garbage. And it was like, that was the only plate. Like, I'm usually self-conscious when I eat ribs or crab or anything like that, because it's just like, you don't want to look like a slob. I didn't care. I absolutely didn't care. It was some of the best crab I've ever had. Welcome on in, Sarah Ann. Hope you're doing well. The sea turtle rescue is there also. Okay, that would be cool to see. At the Crab Shack, they have alligators, like baby alligators out front. And I don't know I don't remember if it's like if they're doing something for them or they're just there for entertainment, but you could buy food and put it on like little hooks, and or not hooks, but little holder things, and put it in there, and watch the little alligators go crazy. So yeah, that was so yeah, looking into that and see. And if, like I said, if worst case scenario, hey, I'm going going now there for a vacation, anybody want to join me? Yeah, so the food was good. Yeah, all of the food that I had in Savannah, minus the breakfast, because breakfast is breakfast, right? Was amazing. That's the first place I encountered Yingling beer, which is now here in Illinois. It was mostly like an East Coast thing, I guess. And yeah, the crab was the best thing. I do have to say, at the time, because it recently closed, Paula Deen's restaurant was there. And I have to tell you, I've never been so full leaving a place, because we ordered off, like there was a buffet, and you went up and you helped stuff, and it was all the stuff that she always talked about on her shows, her hoe cakes. There was chicken, there was all the stuff that she would talk about. So you had to try everything. So I tried a little bit of everything, and thank goodness that Savannah has little parks at every intersection, because I had to sit down at every single one of them, because I just could not walk without a lot of pain. Melly says fish for gators, they'll cook your catch right up for you. Yeah, I've never had a place where you catch and then cook it like that. My dad used to do that. He used to tell stories of they would go fishing up in Canada in very remote spots, like you had to fly into it on a little plane with the pontoons on it, and they would drop them off, and they would fish for the week or whatever. And he said there was never anything as good as a shore lunch. You take your catch, you clean it, and you fry it right there on the shore. Probably the closest I ever got was fishing up in Land O'Lakes, Watersmeet, Wisconsin, Michigan line. Had some family there on Lake Fishhawk, and used to go fishing there on the Cisco chain of lakes. That was good. Jay Lady says, did you party on River Street? Maybe a little bit. We went to, there was, it's still there because I follow him on Facebook. There was a dueling piano bar that was the first dueling piano bar that I had ever been to. And it was hysterical, and it was amazing. If you've ever been to a dueling piano bar, you really have to have good performers, but that was fun. And then when I came back here, I found out that there's one in Chicago. So I've been down there a couple times, one time for New Year's Eve. And the piano players, the singers, they are hysterical. They know every freaking song there is. They can sit down and play it. You can request. They do jokes. There was one guy, he had like different dances he would do for different songs. And how it worked, you had the two piano players, and then they would start the evening, and then two more would come in, and then they start rotating through and get breaks and stuff like that. So when it was his time to take a break, he would do one of these performances. So I've seen him do this probably 3 or 4 times, and it's so hysterical. He gets up on top of the pianos, and I don't think he sings it live. I think he probably is mouthing it. Pour some sugar on me. And the funniest thing is at some point in the song, he has a little packet of sugar. He rips it open. And it's hysterical. It's hysterical when you're there, maybe having some drinks. Icon of the Seas has a piano bar, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So that was about it. Melanie says, my neighbor gave us a giant live crab. I can't eat it if I've seen it alive. One time in Key West, I was at, what was it, Turtle Run or Turtle something. It's right on the water. And I was eating crab, and a little crab came up over the wall because it was outside. You're basically at like pier and then dock or beer boats. Came up, and I'm just like, I'll cook you. He went back over the wall and went away. Doesn't really bother me, I guess. Yeah. There was one time, so there's a place by me, it's called Supreme Lobster, and it's a host, like it brings in every single day, it brings in fresh seafood that then they distribute to other stores and restaurants. Well, they have a little store that you can go to, and there was one year I wanted crab so bad. Well, I was going to a friend's house and we wanted crab. So I got Alaskan king crab legs, and I got to my friend's house and they didn't have a pot big enough to cook them in. So we literally put them in the boiling water, cooked them, took them out, turned them over, put the other side in. Since then, I have had a whole new appreciation for baking crab legs. So I would definitely do that. I have to find this place next time I drive to Florida. Savannah is always a stop. Yeah, it's a beautiful city. The history there is just amazing. It's a little bit for everybody. You're on the water. If you like that, you got a lot of little shops and stuff. If you like that, you could relax at the pool because it's usually nice weather, or you can go and do hunt tours, or you can do regular tours and learn about the city. It's just it's amazing place. You always go there when you go to Savannah, to the dueling piano bars. Yeah, that place was really cool. Carol said, I've been to the dueling piano bar in Chicago. So much fun. It is so fun. It gets so packed. And I will say the worst thing about it is you have for whatever reason, it became a place for all of the bachelorette parties to go to. So you got the girls walking around with the ribbon and the things in the hair and whatnot, with the penis suckers and all this other stuff. And then, will you do this? Like, I have to do this scavenger hunt. Do you have this? And it's just like, I want to pay attention to what's going on here because it's pretty funny. But yeah, they even, one time we were trying to think of a song that would stump them. So we put in a request for Rubber Ducky. Rubber Ducky, you're the one. He looked at it, started playing, sang it. Not only the first verse, but a second verse I didn't even know existed. So they know their stuff. Let's see. Nancy says Icon was amazing. I can't wait. So I've been sort of preoccupied with other things. Normally, I'm a big researcher when it comes to going on cruises. And I feel at this point, I'm sort of like, if this was any other ship except for one of the new Icon class ones, I wouldn't have to do research. I know what to expect. This is the first Icon class that I'm going on. I was shocked at the number of bars that there is at this place, which is freaking fantastic. And the number of restaurants and places to eat and stuff like that is just amazing. So we are making a spreadsheet of all the specialty drinks that all the bars have, and we're going to make sure that we try all of them. And that may sound weird, but when Harmony of the Seas came out, Royal Caribbean did a big marketing ad that said, like, somehow, I forgot how they exactly said it, but they said that Harmony had more specialty cocktails than any other Royal Caribbean ship. So we said, prove it. So we got the menus ahead of time. Sorry. Oh, it's not going back. We got menus ahead of time. We made a spreadsheet, and it was a check off and a rating system. We would give it a 3. It wasn't that good, or was this, or was that. So we're gonna do the same thing with this ship. But I'm excited because they have a champagne bar back, and they usually have really good martinis there. They have like something off of the promenade that is open. It sounds like that they have some special. It's just the drinks sound amazing. I'm looking. I'll have to print you my bar crawl checklist. Nancy, please do. You can email it or give it to me if you're going to retreat, whatever. That would be amazing. Osbeer, plus you can get beignets in Savannah. Yes, there was a really good New Orleans restaurant there. There's also the Savannah Candy Kitchen. And let me tell you, if you like, what do they call them? Basically, like, I know them sort of as turtles. So like the pool of caramel, then like nuts or something, and then chocolate. If you like that type of thing, they have the absolute best. And when it's cooler outside, I sometimes order myself a couple of them to be shipped up here. They are so good. Let's see. Crashly says, if you're all going on a bar crawl together, I need at least a week's notice because I'm coming, whether or not I'm invited. Come on. The former largest cruise ship in the world. Come on down. Hi, Joe. Welcome on in. Nancy, espresso martinis on tap. I'm done. Thank you. There was another one. There was another drink that sounded so amazing. I'm like, I'm going to have a problem with this one. I know that at Lime and Coconut, which is like the poolside bar, the lime and coconut drink is horribly good. Was it some type of old fashioned? I know they have like a toasted marshmallow old fashioned I don't think I've ever had it properly made because they're always out of something. But it's been pretty good. But there was something else that they had that I was like, I am going to have that. Crash says my favorite show is your favorite shot. Crashly. Let's talk about my favorite shot. Is blowjob, and I know it's gross, but the shot tastes like iced coffee. You can barely taste the alcohol. Those are pretty good. A friend of mine's mom, number of years ago, was turning 40, so we had a party for her at Jukebox Saturday Night, which used to be an oldie bar out here in the suburbs. Oldie being they had like a hollowed out Cadillac as the DJ booth, and they played all oldies music. And we were trying to get her drunk, and we couldn't. She's a Greek lady. She's used to holding her alcohol, probably much, much stronger than everything that they were serving. And she could do a blowjob shot and put the whipped cream back in the glass. I thought that was talent. Pralines and bear claws. I took them to Australia for family try. Those are so praline. Yeah, I think they call them pralines. Yes, yes, you did break me. I had to stop for a second and really try and absorb what was going on there. Make a release paper to mark the occasion. Yeah, I need. If I give you the list of bars, can you give me a release paper that has all the bars on it? I can check them off, and then I could like always have that memory. Yeah, that would be fun. Let's see. Crashy did his best not to say yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Christopher. Crashly, Rich made my all-time favorite Jello shots. They were amazing. Yeah. What was the drink that you like? Oh, amaretto sour. So she said she liked those, and I jokingly says, "Oh, we need to have Jello shots." She goes, "Oh, really?" And I have to say, I make a pretty mean Jello shot. So I made amaretto sours, and then like a coconut rum, and I guess it was just citrus something. Both were very good. I brought them to GLE. Had the cooler sitting down behind under the table. People would come in, and yeah, they were pretty good. We sampled a lot of things at GLE. That was one of them. Let's see. You're welcome. Thank you, Christopher. You complete me, Christopher. You fill in the blanks where they don't need to be filled in, but you do it anyhow, and I appreciate that. So let's see what else. I think that's it. Make sure that if you're watching, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't been, but I think everybody has subscribed. Remember to share that bling video, and I hope to have another bling thing at some point. Crashly says, Rich, did you have a personal bad experience with Carnival, or did you just not like them because of their history? I had a bad experience with Carnival, and that was the ship that I was on pulled up alongside one of their ships. That was enough. Now, Carnival has a much lower price point than Royal Caribbean and Celebrity or some others. If that's what you can do, go do it. If that's how you can get the benefits of cruising, go do it. But I've heard way too many stories. I was talking to my cruise buddy. We were talking about flights and stuff like that. And we would always take Southwest because we have points. And now Southwest is screwed up the way, like it used to be, you had 3 tiers. And the lowest one was always the most economical, but you got your bags and everything else. Now they have like 5. And what was the first rung before is now the 3rd rung. So it's like the 3rd most expensive. It's only 1 bag. It's only this, it's only that. I'm like, this is really frustrating. I don't know if I care about my points. So I went to Google Flights and I started looking, and sure enough, the cheapest flights were Spirit. So I equate Spirit and Carnival Cruise Lines. And then, of course, watch the Poop Cruise documentary. That'll help you out as well. Like banged into it? No, we pulled up to next to it at a port. And when the ship was rocking, but not because of the water, and not in like the best of ways. That's all I have to say. Too many children and too many people drunk 24/7. Yes, Eve, 100%. Like I have a friend that goes on Carnival, and it's like they literally, their drink policy is very loosey-goosey. They're able to go get buckets of things like multiple times throughout the day. Royal doesn't do buckets. They give you a cooler that you can fill, but the cooler is like pretty expensive. You have to buy it, and you can take it home. But I don't see a lot of people doing that. Even with the free or the all you can drink package, there's only so much damage you could really do. I have yet to see someone completely obliterated on a Royal Caribbean ship. I will say that more fights have started breaking out on Royal Caribbean ships. But you know, what are you going to do? I would like to try Celebrity someday, although Captain Kate left Celebrity. She is a YouTuber, Instagrammer, TikToker, whatever. And she was the captain of one of the Celebrity ships. I forget which one. I was excited. I wanted to go meet her, but she has moved on to, what's the really fancy hotel? They're getting a cruise ship. I forget the name of it, but she was in Chicago here for the headquarters. So it must have been, is there Hyatt or something? I don't know. I forget the name of it. Crashly says there's so many people. I'm not scared of crowds or anything, but we're like back to back with each other. That doesn't seem exciting. So I will tell you that there are a lot of people that go on cruises. Now, I prefer there's two types of cruisers, in my opinion. Again, you have people who go for the ships, and then people who go for the ports. Me and my cruise buddy, we go for the ship. We look at Puerto Rico, or we look at the the private island. We're on the ship. We're outside on the ship and stuff like that, but we're there for the ship. So we like the large ships. So I have been on pretty much each of the large. At some point, they've been the largest ship. Like there was Oasis of the Seas, and there was Allure of the Seas, and they were all like a couple feet bigger for whatever reason. So everyone gets another largest title. Icon was the largest, and now I think it's Star of the Seas is now the largest because they make improvements and stuff. So there are literally 6,000 or 7,000 potential passengers on a ship, not to mention the 1,500, 2,000 crew that's on the ship as well. There are two times that the crowds drive me nuts. That is when you get on the ship and when you get off the ship, because everyone's going for the elevators at the same time, roughly. Other than that, there is so much room. No problems with the crowds. And quite honestly, the Carnival ships, they're pretty big too. So I would, and again, everybody has their own comfort level with level of crowd, but I've never had a problem with crowds. I will say Icon of the Seas the show is Wizard of Oz. So I'm going to see that. I'm looking forward to that. I've never seen that on the stage. You watched the Poop Cruise documentary and you were paid for the Carnival cruise. Let's be fair. That could happen to any ship. Okay. It could happen to any ship. I think it was horribly unfortunate. Was it handled the best way? There could have been things that they did differently. And I'm not saying another cruise line would do things differently. But, there's been times that things have gone wrong on ships and you got to make do with what you make do. I've never had all the power go out forever. Power outages, sure, they happen. Toilets clog because the way, like, the toilets are like vacuum toilets or something, so it's very weird, but they're able to fix it and whatnot. There was one time it was storming so bad that the rain was hitting the deck, like the walking deck, which was then came into the promenade through closed doors, but water was coming in, so the promenade started flooding a little bit. It wasn't deep, it was just a little bit of water. But again, some people were like, oh my god, water on a ship, we're going down. And it's like, no, it's just the rain coming in. Let's see what else. I mean, really, I haven't had anything really bad happen. So Osprey, there we go. I have gold with Carnival, you just don't hang out on the Lido deck. Okay, that's good advice. I'm trying to think if there's a place, like we don't go to the dance club much, but I don't know that we avoid anywhere else. But that, I get it. I will say that it is a little scary if you decide to go down for pizza at like 2 a.m. The Lido deck crash. It's usually I think it's the main deck where like most of the things are. But Royal Caribbean, if you go down at 2 a.m, a little tipsy for the greasiest, grossest pizza ever, but you're going to eat it because it's the only thing that you want when you're drunk is the greasy, gross pizza. It's sometimes there's little pockets of people coming off the bars and stuff like that it's like, okay, calm down. But yeah, Melanie, the girl, you and the poop, yeah, you're all set for it. You got a balcony room. It looks beautiful. Okay. I've stayed in internal rooms. I've stayed in a studio for one person. Every other time I get a balcony because there is nothing like sitting out on that balcony and enjoying the sun and the sound of the water. And when you pull in someplace, depending on what side of the ship you're on, you either have an ocean view or you have a view of an island, typically. Last time I was in Aruba, I was hidden. I was hiding on my balcony because I was facing the island, looking out, and I look over, and there's a ship right at the front of our ship. Like, we were parked like this, they're parked like this. Do I recognize the name of that ship? It was called Tradewinds. Anybody know what Tradewinds ship is? It's good. Give a second, see if anybody can pick up on it. So Tradewinds is the Scientology ship. It is the ship that L. Ron Hubbard bought, fixed up, whatnot, so that they could do business in international waters, so that they could escape any type of US laws, whatever. So they supposedly still use it for, like, they send people there for retreats and stuff like that. So we're parked there. I look at this, I go, oh my God, that's the Scientology ship. Well, I just so happened that was my first time that I brought binoculars on a cruise because I wanted to be able to see the other ships and other things that I was looking at. So your balcony, it's glass. Then they have these walls, little walls that will open up if you have adjoining rooms and stuff. But I'm like this around the corner of my balcony looking. I'm watching people walk up and down the ship. I'm like, okay, there's a bar back there. People are sitting at the bar. What are they doing? And then I'm like, oh, there's a guy cleaning. What is he doing? Is he getting paid? Is he getting, all the horror stories you hear about the Scientology stuff. And so I stayed out on my balcony until evening. It was nightfall. We were leaving, and as we were going by, I'm sitting with my binoculars. Yeah. But why did I start talking about that? Oh, balconies. So I love them. I did have an interior room one time, but it had, Royal Caribbean has a thing called a virtual balcony, which is basically like a 60-inch TV turned on its side, and then they put curtains around it, and they have cameras off the sides of the ship. So depending on what side of the ship you're on, you're seeing what's on your side of the ship. And it worked beautiful. I would look and I would go, oh, look at the seagulls. Look, we're at an island. Look, we're out at sea. It was like looking out a window. The only thing is you couldn't go outside and sit out there, right? But a lot of times, when you go out and sit there, you're either in the sun, it's too hot, it's humid, whatever. So I don't spend a huge amount of time out there, but during the day, I will, because it's quieter and less congested than like the pool deck. So I might as well just sit there in the sun. But yeah, I love that. My husband and I were on the first sailing of the Sovereign of the Seas. Nice. That was the largest ship at the time. I love that every ship that Royal Caribbean comes out to is the largest at the time. Like, I was watching that documentary about the lady who got trafficked, Amy something. And it was, I forgot the name of the ship, but it was the largest at the time. And now it's like one of the smallest. Look for Tom Cruise. Yes. If there's a knock at your door, don't answer. Spying. Yes, exactly. That's why I have baby gates. Virtual balcony. Hey, it worked. I wanted to try an inside room. I will tell you, the inside room was not the worst, like probably the worst, and it wasn't even as bad, that bad, is I had a studio room, and it was literally like my cruise buddy Lisa walked into my room and she hysterically started laughing, and she had to sit down because she was laughing so hard, because it was literally door, bed, bathroom. That was it. I had a window. That was a little claustrophobic. Plus, there was like some type of rope hanging outside of my room, and it kept hitting the ship at night and stuff like that. But that was way too small. The interior room, what I liked about it is at night you turned off the virtual balcony and it was complete darkness, and I need dark to sleep. So I loved that. Whereas, the exterior rooms get dark, but you always get a little bit of light pollution depending on where you're at in relation to the what's the word? The hot tubs that hang over the side and they're lit up, and if you're underneath a sign or whatever, it bleeds in a little bit around the curtains. But yeah, I always do balcony. Plus, now I'm Diamond Plus. Last time I checked, that means I spent over 700 nights at sea, but I sailed right after COVID, and they were giving, I already get double points because I'm a single person in a double room, so they get double points. At COVID, I was getting 3 and 4 points a night, so it hasn't been that much, but I get discounts on balcony rooms that are actually cheaper than the next level of room down. Like when you go and price it, the balcony room is super expensive compared to like the sea view room. But then the minute you put in your reward stuff, it goes like that. So that's pretty cool. Yes, the peephole at the door is pretty much the only light, or the light from under the bathroom at the door, because they usually have a little bit of a night light. Yes. But that small room was right off the casino. I enjoy gambling a little too much. I didn't need to hear slot machines going off in my sleep. And then I didn't need to know that, well, I could just get dressed again and it's right outside my door. Didn't need to do that. But Carol says, Royal Caribbean is my choice of ships, have been on many. No need to disembark when you've seen all the ports. I would stay on the ship. Yes. The only places we get off are places that we know have places that we like to go to. So St. Martin, I love to go to the other side of the island, to that bar by the airport. The airport, it's literally ocean, sand, street, airport. So you have these huge jets coming in. It's almost like they're going to take your head off. And then some people, like the big jets, go to take off the runway and they start the engines. Some people hold on to the fence and get blown away by the jet blast. Unfortunately, a lot of people get hurt by that. So they're trying to stop people from doing that. But I love going there. There's on the boardwalk a little bit, there's a couple great bars and restaurants there. Plus St. Martin has the Yoda Man exhibit, which is the Star Wars guy who retired there, and he has a bunch of stuff from Star Wars. St. Thomas, there used to be a really good Caribbean restaurant that we would go to that was sort of off the beaten path, but now St. Thomas is one of those places that we probably don't get off at. Although I will tell you a quick story. The first time I went to St. Thomas, they had a pet store, like in the downtown area. And I went in and they had a bunch of souvenirs for dogs. So I got Sammy a collar that said Island Dog St. Thomas. And it was like, oh my gosh, I get to get something for my dog. So the next time I went there, I looked it up and it said they had moved, knew where that was at. So took the tram, the bus, the whatever, into the downtown area, and I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm walking, and it's hot. I'm walking all around this. It was like a outside mall that just had buildings, and you would then go into the building, which would be the store. And I couldn't find this place. I found it on the directory. I went, and they had closed, like permanently closed. So I'd done all that walking for nothing. And I have yet to find a place that has souvenirs for dogs. But yeah, other than that, I don't know that there's much that we would do in St. Thomas. Aruba, we like to get off and we go pretend like we're looking for Natalie Holloway. What else? Where else do we go? We've gotten off at Royal Caribbean. Has island, a private island at Labadee. It's not really an island. It's part of actually Haiti. It's separated from Haiti by a range of mountains. They have unfortunately stopped going there because of the political unrest in Haiti. But we've been there. There's been some stories from that place, I'll tell you. We've been there. And like I said, the new island, Coco Cay, we've looked at it outside the window because all we see going down the pier are families with kids. And Lisa and I were very excited. She goes, you know what? She goes, when we get to Coco Cay, you know what we always want to do there? You know they have it on the ship now. We always wanted to go to the swim up bar on Coco Cay. Icon of the Seas has a swim up bar. But every time we've stopped at Coco Cay, we've vowed to get off. A matter of fact, they have a hot air balloon that's tethered, and it'll take you up and you see everything and you come back down. We've had that booked at least 4 times. And every single time we get to that island, it's closed because of some type of weather. Usually it's rain, but sometimes it was just like the wind went the different way one time and they shut it down. Like it's a beautiful sunny day, they shut it down. So we gave up on that, to be honest. But I find, sort of to get back to your point, or my point, Crashly, about Carnival. Carnival seems to be the party ships. Then you have, and I'm talking the 3 big ones now, Celebrity, which is a little bit more like it's older, it's hoity-toity a little bit. It's not as family friendly. Royal Caribbean sits right in between the two of those. You can party, but you can bring your family, you can do whatever. So we find the mix of people to best suit us. So that's why we are loyal to Royal. Carol, we don't get off the ships. We just want to be on board. Yeah, for at least that. And the when you're in port is the best time to be on the ship because people get off the ship. And now you can go places and sit places and not have to wait for food or drinks or whatnot. Sure, some things close. The casino closes because now you're in port. Okay. Some of the bars close, some of the restaurants aren't open, stuff like that. But for the most part, a lot of them are, and it's a great time to be on the ship. Oscar says St. Thomas has an amazing tablecloth store. I know what you're talking about. That is amazing store. And who would ever think that like a tablecloth store would be a thing? By Muttnut, we're getting ready to wrap up too. Savannah has a store with souvenirs for dogs. Do they? I don't remember that. That may have been new since I've been there. Carnival cruises over 7 days are completely different than cruises under. Good point, Margaret. By the way, welcome in. Good point. You got the weekend cruises. Everybody's there to party the hardest they can over the weekend. Whereas 7 days, you got people who are on the ship for a little bit longer. They need the stamina to keep up for 7 days, and it's just not there. I 100% agree with you. And I know that that's true because even when I went on the transatlantic from Italy to Florida, that was a completely different group of people because you have a 13-day voyage, all of which there are no ports. So you have all of the ship people all together. you don't have the people that like to get off at ports and stuff like that. So yeah, Carol says I laugh at those videos you see people running for. Yeah, those are funny, especially when the entire ship is yelling at the people and they're just walking. Crashly, know what ship time is, know what time to be back on the ship, and plan on being on the ship at least an hour early. Because if you miss the ship, it does not wait for you. And then you have to figure out how you get to the next port to get back on the ship to get your stuff. That's my advice. All right, I could talk cruising for as long as I could talk diamond painting. And I'm excited because this is my first cruise that I'm going to bring a diamond painting. And I'm going to bring a diamond painting for my friend because I've told her about it. She's interested, and I'm going to have her try it. So I'm looking for a diamond painting for her. Her nickname is Bug, like Ladybug. So I'm trying to find a nice ladybug. I can't decide if I want round or square. Like round, supposedly easier, but square, I don't know. So I'm looking for that. I'm going to bring that for her. And yeah, that's the first time I'm bringing a diamond painting on a ship. And I'm looking forward to it because now you've taken the two things that I love and you've put it together. So I'm going to be blissfully happy. I will try and go live from the ship or do some type of videos and stuff from the ship. I'll be posting them. Usually the internet is pretty good. I don't know. Let's see. I will be leaving on a Saturday, so I'll be on the ship for a Sunday. I'll test it out and see if maybe I could have a live from the ship. But if there's anything that y'all want to see, if you haven't been on a cruise ship before, like I know Tammy, Tammy's mom is scared of water. And I've told her, you don't even have to see the water if you don't want to. The water is way out there. You don't even look over the side. You don't see it. It's like you're on a floating city. So I want to take and give her some perspectives so that she knows that you don't even know that you're on water. When am I going? I'm going at the end of October over Halloween because she did have one, and I was thinking of getting that one, but then it was around, and then I had to start thinking. So Nancy, it's over Halloween because the last time, like 2 cruises ago, we went on a Halloween cruise and it was a lot of fun. And that's when I dressed up as Mrs. Roper. So I'm trying to figure out a good costume for this time. Taking ideas. I have one idea, but I need to work on the accent. Eve is going to have to help me with the accent. I only need to say a couple catchphrases though, so that may give you a hint of who I'm thinking of. But last time I went as Mrs. Roper, this is another TV personality, but more current. So thank you, Nancy, for the bar crawl to the retreat. Thank you. That would be amazing. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We are at over an hour and a half, so I'm going to let everybody go. And remember, Crashly comes on at 6 p.m. Central, so for 20 minutes. So go refresh your beverages, get yourself a snack, flip whatever you have in the oven, and get back here and tune into Crashly, and we'll see who else. Yogurt from Spaceballs. Ooh. That's sort of good because Spaceballs is coming back, right? They're coming back with the second one. I do like that. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks, everybody. I will. I have a couple videos coming out throughout the week, so you'll see me there, but I will see you again next Sunday. Have a good week. You do you. Enjoy yourself, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.